business and the technology side of the business. I would like to first give a quick introduction to all the dairy leaders. Our first panelist is Ms. Annie Matthew, who is the CIO of Mother Dairy Fruit and Vegetable Private Limited. In a career spanning over 3 decades, she has experience in diverse domains, having worked in industries like petrochemicals, lubricants, IT, and dairy. While she has primarily worked on technology enablement from within the business environment, she has also been part of technology companies. She believes in the power of technology to transform lives and drive inclusion. And her mantra for success, perpetual journey of unlearning and learning, and aligning career goals and a sense of purpose. Welcome, Matthew. Great to have you. Welcome, Annie. My mistake. My apologies. And great to have you with us today. Can't hear you, Annie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really good to be here. Thank you, Vasista, for inviting me to this session. Looking forward to hearing a lot of interesting insights and ideas.
We also have Ms. Anjali Vaidya, Director of IT at Lactalis India, which is the Indian arm of France-based Lactalis Group. Anjali represents the Indian dairies acquired by Lactalis, each in South India, Western and Central India. A strong IT leader with over 29 years of experience, Anjali has worked in IT and non-IT sectors, including oil, agro, dairy, and engineering industries. She has developed and maintained end-to-end IT solutions using different technologies. She has led multiple successful projects, including implementation of SAP, Tableau, integration of different applications with SAP, business automation, process re-engineering, and other international projects. Anjali, welcome.
Thank you, Diksha. And thank you, Vasista, for giving me opportunity on this forum. Yes, definitely, we will discuss is like how technology is going to improve the dairy processes and how it will be helpful for the farmers from the end user till like, so it's all is like, transparency and the system, how they are going to help. Like, so
thank you, Anjali. And the final leader from representing the dairy industry is Ms. Padmavati, who is the Managing Director at the Karnataka-based Chikkaballapura District Cooperative Milk Producers Societies Union Limited, which is a part of the Karnataka Milk Federation. I think it's the largest federation in India, second largest federation in India, my apologies. Yeah. She holds the distinction of being its first ever lady managing director in its 48 years history. Some of the impactful projects she has led include successfully implementing total computerization for the first time at KMF as far back as 2005. In 2013, she has led successful implementation of Cloud Dairy ERP covering the end-to-end dairy value chain. And another project is implementing a mobile app for retailers to capture key data points and milk products, thereby bringing in transparency into the business. Her dream is to ease the work of milk producers, enable real-time data and fast payments to them, improve quantity and quality of milk, all with the help of technology. Welcome, Padmavati.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really very lucky and honored today being the part of this panel. And also I thank Vasista for giving me this opportunity. I think I have some dreams. So this panel may give some light on that and help me reach that dream. Thank you all.
Coming to the technology side of business, I would like to introduce Ms. Aditi Olman, Director of New Initiatives at Cash Free Payments, a leading payment services company in India. Aditi has entrepreneurial experience in the AI space, having started a company called Mylene Foundry. Before her entrepreneurial strength, she has spent time building the tech and innovation office for Tata Sons and has also worked in the chairman's office. She has done a BTech from IIT Guwahati and her management degree from London Business School. Aditi, welcome and great to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Diksha, and an absolute honor to be part of this panel and look forward to the discussion.
And last but not the least, from AWS, we have Ms. Anubhuti Singh, who is the Strategic Alliance Leader. She's a passionate sales professional with 21 years of experience and a deep understanding of the partner alliance functions. She successfully built and executed scalable channel programs, expansion of channel ecosystem, and setting up of channel operations. She has hands-on experience in building partner ecosystem for cloud and SaaS platforms. Anubhuti, welcome.
Thank you, Diksha. And absolute honor to be on the panel with all the eminent panelists here. And thank you, Vasista, for giving me the opportunity. Look forward to the discussion today.
So welcome again to all the panelists. Looking forward to a very thought-provoking discussion. My first set of questions will be to the experts from the dairy industry. You each represent the public sector, private sector, and the state level corporations. So it will be very interesting to know what your technology approach has been. So my first question is, what has been your experience in making your firm a tech-led company? What are some of the challenges that you face, especially given the pandemic scenario, and how have you managed these transitions? And if we could go with you first, please.
Yeah, good morning once again. And thank you for that, Diksha. Very, very interesting challenge to put together, I think, roughly almost 18 years of work in the dairy industry into a maybe 2-3 minute capsule, but I'll try my best. When you come, I mean, I had come from a non-dairy background. My dairy exposure prior to this was with a large dairy ecosystem outside India. So the understanding that it's a completely different universe, right? The way dairy operates in India and the way dairy operates internationally, the ratio is here one farmer who could pour in even I think half liter, 200 ml, any kind of volume of milk, the kind of fragmentation of the ecosystem and the levels of aggregation which happen. That is the first and most critical difference between dairy industry worldwide and the way dairy industry operates in India. So a lot of difference in the way you look at the whole supply chain and the ability to deploy technology across a supply chain. You have to completely wear a different hat when you look at technology within the dairy industry in India. The cost challenges, right? I think the biggest issue is the narrow margins within which the dairy industry operates, and bringing in cost-effective, lean solutions, which and everything translates into a per liter cost, right? So how do you make it insignificant so that it doesn't figure into the per liter cost in any kind of a decimal point kind of thing? So that's the first focus. So many differences. I think, again, having industry experts, because the technology understanding doesn't sit within the organization. A lot of it support comes from the consultants and the OEMs that we work with. Their ability to understand this difference in the dairy ecosystem and to design solutions handling these challenges, that itself was the biggest problem when we started out on this journey. So we addressed this whole journey layer by layer, putting in a core financial system at the center to make sure that each and every transaction had a visible impact on the financial reporting, and then extending it, the whole digitalization, because our focus was to enhance productivity, right? Bring in as much cost optimization as possible, work around the skill set challenges to address and incorporate technology where skill set doesn't become a challenge. So all these issues means that we had to bring in technologies which is easily accessible, easily maintainable, not too much of customization to make it too proprietary, and scalable, because dairy organizations grow over a period of time, organic, inorganic growth. So all these elements had to get factored in the way we designed our technology stack.
And so you started with financials and then moved on to the manufacturing side of things.
No, actually, we put in ERP first,
Okay,
which was
ERP.
SAP. So that was
Okay.
my first journey within
Okay.
Mother Dairy.
Okay.
And then once we put in SAP, which addressed all the core components, all the
Yeah.
core processes, procure to pay, order to cash,
Yeah.
each one of them.
Mhm.
Then we moved into extending, like the whole backward linkage, which is the
Okay.
procurement ecosystem,
Yeah.
then the front end or distributor system. So typically, an organization like Mother Dairy has got multiple industry verticals within it or domains within it. You have got retail, you have got FMCG, you have got procurement. So many different industries which merge into this, and so many
Okay.
different technologies which merge into this.
Okay. So I want to bring in Anjali here. Annie, you mentioned your difference in the experience working for a global company versus coming to India and addressing India's dairy industry, right? So Anjali probably I'm sure has something to add. You represent a French company in India, right? What are your views on this technology-led adoption in the dairy industry? What has been your experience?
So as Annie said rightly, so because in India, the one farmer gives like 200 ml, 500 ml, 1 liter. So the number of transactions in India is very high. And if we compare to the other side of the globe, so the volume of one milk provider is very high. So number of transactions is very less in that case. So normally, if I talk about the technology front, it's very typical, very critical processes are there in India. So it's very difficult to adopt the technology with the kind of a business model in India. So it was very tough for us, similarly, we did SAP implementation first, and the different application in different areas. But there means the main objective was, should have a transparency, farmers should have that transparency, that like how much liter they have given, what quality, because basically all prices that depend upon not only the quantity, it is a quantity and the quality in the dairy. So initial model in India was, the farmers directly was not able to get the things is like, what they have done and how much they are getting, because the model was, the agent used to collect the milk from the farmer and they used to interact with the dairy industries. So normally we know that agent, whatever he is providing, and we were paying to the agents only. Now, but the thing is like, then finally maybe some farmer will get not satisfied, and then finally the company's name is there that like this company has paid us less and something. So the objective was to go towards farmer level, directly get that data, and then integrate with the systems, pay them what they are giving to us. So this was from the procurement side. Now coming to because every user, though it is a procurement side user, the skill set of the users are very, as 85% are women. Okay, so the skill set, so the technology, in the industry, SAP is okay, but other part of that is like, for the procurement to pay, and then here the supply chain, like, delivery part, everything, if we want to make it, so simple, so it should be a user friendly application, small application which should interact with the major application, major ERPs. And because it's not only the technology, so user friendly, and also in dairy it's a time bound, because the farmer should get the payment on 11th day if we have a 10-day payment cycle. So competitors are doing that. So that was a challenge for us, is like, get the data, because there are shifts. So it was, thing is like technology definitely going to help, dairy to progress, but it should be a very user friendly application, and talking like back end pro, it should be talking to the all big ERPs and small application in the field should be there, which should be easily understandable by the key like users.
Yeah, so very intuitive basically,
Yeah.
given that, varying degrees of literacy there. So I'll come to, what are the technologies and what are the platforms being leveraged later. But Padmavati, you represent a sort of a government angle, and generally the perception is that PSUs government are lagging behind in technology adoption,
Yes, yes.
which is now clearly changing. But what has been your experience?
Yeah. Yeah, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my team, because one of the happiest thing I want to share with you is today my company is a technology tech company where we have implemented SaaS technology, which is one of the latest, and many of the companies are adopting that. So in this opportunity, I would like to thank my core system team and all the coordinators of different sections who are with me in that implementation time. So I thank one and all and the management. So here I would like to say that I have gone through 2 transitions. One is initially my company had a Oracle-based forms. Then we at 2005 we changed that to a web-based technology, which is a SAP. So then another transition was at 2013 where we moved to the cloud-based. So maybe here like what we faced is the drawbacks of the web-based, where maybe the server performance, compatibility issues are maybe not up to the like our expectation. As a technology changes, it's our duty to adapt to the new technology, which is a need of the day. So that made us to move to the cloud-based dairy technology. So this is a transition. But this transition was not at all easy. As you know, every transition, especially when one system is running, the parallel implementation is really a hectic task. So here, like the vendor who manages or who gives us the support, he should understand the system first. So when the vendor understands the system, I think the success rate will be very high because they work for us and our need. The second thing is the focus from the top management. It's really very important. In that way, I'm very lucky. I had a very good management team who supported me well. And I thank my director at that time, Sri Narasimha Reddy sir. And to quote 1 or 2 cases like how we face these changes. See, when I went to the web base, it's really very like in 2005, people are not very used to the computer, total computerization. And all. They were maintaining logbooks and all. So many were hesitant to hold the mouse also. They were not come out of that, their ledger writing, all that. And they were a little worried how to work in that. I don't know anything in that. So what I decided is I took one week class for them. For every batch of some 10 to 20 members, 1 week basic computer course. As I was from a teaching background, I took the class. I told them it's very easy. You can do, some mistakes will happen, but still we are there with you. We'll correct it. But that mistake should not be repeated further. So they got confidence in using, and that was my success in web-based. Later, when we move on to the cloud, the scenario was little changed. All were computer savvy, and it made me little easier for me to have the second transition. So here I go to do like other thing. What we have to concentrate is, as one of my colleagues said, the end user requirement is very, very important, because if it doesn't satisfy the requirement, they are not interested to switch over to the new system. So for example, I want to say we had the cash system in like every day, the milk retailers. Basically, I'm from IT and I'm not into procurement when I implemented. Now I am in the procurement side also. So there every day they used to collect cash, either the retailers or the transporters who collect cash and pay at the cash system. So one of the major achievement we did is made the dairy cash free. So that was a major change, and all were not ready to switch over. But what we did is we gave alternatives to them. For our retailers or our users, what we said is you can go pay at the bank, or you can go, we provided them the CDM facilities, or you can make online payment. See, when there are many options, definitely they will try to switch over to the new system. And the other thing is we made sending SMSs. So SMS sending is like, they are very happy when they come to know each and every transaction. It was very transparent, whether the payment has happened, whether his balance is updated. So many retailers were very happy because of this information, and a batch of retailers came to the dairy. They thanked us for creating this facility and helped them in this regard. Similarly, the transporter billing also made online. And there also they were very happy because every deduction what the dairy does, everything was transparent. It was sent through a message when the bill got generated. So he used to come to know about the mischief of his driver, whether he is giving good service or not. So all this, it was very helpful to them. So when we when we attempt to their needs and we fulfill their requirements, definitely they will switch over to the new system. That was one of the success why we got a success, of course, with it's not only my success, it's a whole entire team success. And also during the COVID also, it helped me a lot. During the demonetization and COVID, people were actually, they were into ordering online, intenting online, and everything was transparent to them. We provided a mobile app. Even they can see their FDs. What is FD, when it is getting over, how much interest he is getting on that FD. So we converted the security deposits to FD, and he is able to view all his transactions in his hand. So this was very helpful to them, and they were very happy. So they all easily switched over. And during this COVID time, they were into digital payment also, UPI payments. So we provided that facility also, and they were very by the time they would have learned how to go for online, phone pay, Google Pay, all that. We created that facility, and these are the challenges I faced and how I overcome. I think technology is need of the day, and we have a long way to go. Now I am into procurement side. I'm thinking what I can do here for the farmers.
Okay.
So it's a long journey, and definitely I think this discussion will help.
So just one quick question, Padmavati, before moving on. You spoke about the vendor side and the transport side where you sort of automated and made payments online. What has been at the farmer side? What is their level of adoption, let's say, in terms of getting paid via UPI platforms or GPay platforms?
And definitely, see what I observe, now I am working as a managing director and looking into the farmer side now. Earlier, I was not into procurement. I know here also we have automatic milk collection units.
Yes.
But still, it is not totally integrated. If a farmer comes to know what is his milk, what is his milk quality, how much rate he is getting today.
Yeah.
Everything is a transactions. He is very transparent. He'll be very happy. And every day, if it is get credited to him through some technology or through some system, definitely this dairying will rock.
Okay. Okay. So we do have a few questions for the fintech leader here, Aditi, but I'll come to that in a bit. All three of you have spoken about the importance of procurement side of business and the supply chain side of business. What I want to just quickly understand is what are the different kinds of technologies that you're adopting to solve these problems that you have highlighted. How is it being leveraged? One on the enterprise side, which is your more organized part of the business, and on the procurement side, where you're addressing the unorganized, fragmented farmer ecosystem.
Yeah, as you know, in the last decade, over the 10 years or a decade, there is a lot of adoption of the technology. So in our in our societies, the milk producing societies also, all the testing equipment integration has been done. And also we have SCADA systems which are integrated over ERP, which is happening in almost all dairy industry. And also people are understanding about the analytics, whether it is a marketing or a procurement. Analytics is very, very important to know the business behavior of my business. If I take a marketing, I can know the pulse of the customer, which area and which product is moving well in which area, what is the customer, whether he is satisfied with the quality or taking feedback. So analytics is also playing a very, very important role. So all this present AI, ML technologies are need of the time. And if we understand the demand supply chain, so there is, of course, we are adopting, but still there is a lot to go in that. See, what we are doing is only we are collecting the organizational data. No. See, I have my own system. I have a logistics. I can track my vehicle. So only the data, what I'm getting is related to my own organization. But today the business is not like that. There is a lot of private firms entering, organic milk entering. So there is, the businesses, the marketing is a quite complex one. So we need to fight against that complexity now. That is actually the need of the day now. So this technologies, AI, MI, automation, everything is definitely required. And I think we need to adopt it. We need to digitize.
Okay. And Anjali, Annie, do you want to add to what Padmavati has said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I think technology just for the sake of technology is something which I don't believe in, especially considering the challenges of the dairy ecosystem, right? There's a desire to deploy a lot of technology, but then typically because of the cost pressures, we go with proven solutions rather than with very, very experimental nascent kind of stages, right? Having said that, we still do a lot of pilots. I think as a continuous process, we do a lot of pilots. We keep trying out different things to make sure to identify those pieces where you can leverage benefits, and low-hanging fruit gets deployed first, of course.
Right.
What are the challenges, right? When you look at the dairy industry, one is a perishability aspect, right? You need then you have the seasonal changes, the lean and the flush season changes. So you need to be able to have a supply chain which is very, very agile and responsive to the needs of the market, right? When you look at the other aspects, which is the changing consumer demand also. There's a lot of focus on nutrition. Earlier, people never used to care so much. Today, nutrition has become such an integral part of our what we want to eat or what we plan to eat, right?
Correct.
Occasional indulgence also is required, but primarily nutrition. Then you have the whole immunity boosting kind of requirements, right? Quite a few gut health kind of issues because of the lifestyle changes which have come in. So technology needs to focus on how quickly are you able to sense any change in consumer demand and to be able to design products and meet that consumer demand. The farmer requirements, which you talked about, like from a nutrition information perspective, right? What to feed the animals, what kind of animal health requirements. So each and every aspect has to be taken care of and can be taken care of through a technology element. We have deployed a lot of our procurement happens through the producer companies, and the producer companies, farmers are using mobile apps quite extensively for all of this information, where they're getting instant information of the quantity and quality of milk that they have collected. Right, a lot of mobile apps, the Enough app and all, which is about animal health monitoring and the nutrition balancing with the local components, right? Handling the understanding the local field availability and giving a balanced nutrition plan. So these are all the technology elements which have evolved over a period of time. When you look at it from a dairy factory perspective or the plant perspective, IoT, Industry 4.0, right? And going forward, I believe even private 5G or public 5G, as we see it evolving, are going to bring a lot of these use cases into much more prominence. For instance, AI/ML. Even simple use cases like automobile number reading, where you are able to prevent a lot of fraud and malpractices by able to automatically read the vehicle number and integrate it with the payment kind of things which you're doing. Because you want to make sure that there is complete transparency and less dependence on manual data entry as much as possible. Ways to enhance productivity, have lesser manpower, work more smartly, right? By giving them access to immediate decision making insights, right? And capturing data at the source. These are the multiple ways in which we are bringing in technology. So even predictive maintenance, for instance, right? Using vibration sensors to assess the need for predictive maintenance. These are all different stages of either pilot or deployment. That is what is happening in our company right now.
Anjali, you were talking passionately about automation of the dairy industry, right?
Yeah.
Any inputs from there? I know anything different.
Most
from
of the things is covered by any. The thing is, like, in all the area, means majorly if you say that like procurement is a 70% of the dairy. Okay. So the thing is like, so as I said, is like till farmer level we have to go, and then that automatic data should come. So as Annie was saying, is like there is no manual intervention should be there, and then it's a transparency, real-time data. So till that, like, our at the it's like society level and then at the BMC level, so we are using Android based application which is integrated with the quality equipment and then the weighment equipment, all that, and then automatically that is coming to our central system which is SAP. So automatically it is coming, so there is no manual intervention. So that is our integration part in the procurement side. Now coming to the part is like, because ultimately the cash flow, the fat and SNF, how much we have lost that fat and SNF, how much we have procured, how much has been processed. So every at the processing side also, the equipment should be integrated with the central system. Okay, there should not be any manual intervention, because normally it happens is, so that is that way also we did. And the third part that we were facing a lot of things is like, it's a perishable item, and then mainly when we are supplying milk. Okay, so whatever the order which we are getting, it's like, if we are delaying getting that order and then the process, so mainly normally we process 10 to 15% high than the demand, which is again a waste. Okay, so what we did is trying to say is like, the automation of that, like order should come by 2 o'clock by giving an app to the users, and then our sales executives and the users, and then order is coming on the time. So that is going a pilot in the things. It's very difficult to implement the things and change the process. And as again, as Padmavati was like saying, is like cash collection is dairy industry is a cash. So again we did the customers are getting information what was the sale has happened, so they are having an app, they are using the app, they're getting that, like what was yesterday sale to them, how much they have paid to the things, what is the outstanding, that kind of a thing. Major to that is like, also we analyze is like some cost which is expenses which is in the transportation, primary transport and the secondary transport, both in the procurement side and both in the sales side. Okay, so for that, major thing is like, we found that like route optimization is which will cut down the transportation cost. Normally what happens is like, when we sell to the customer, so there is a fixed route will be there. Some point of time we have that customer, we don't have that customer, but our vehicle will go in that route only. So which is maybe per liter cost for that transportation will be higher. So we saw that, and then we have implemented one route optimization application, which after the order, based upon the customer thing, it will suggest us which vehicle will go on which route. It may be a dynamic route kind of a thing will be there. So that way, so all and any of the application, these are all small and third-party applications which we are using, and database is on cloud, and all is integrated with SAP. And finally, analytics. So that we are using Tableau. So all application and SAP data is coming to Tableau, and then we have a real-time analysis. So that's how
Okay. No, great insights, great understanding of the challenges and how technology is and can continue to make a difference. I want to now shift the focus to the technology leaders. We have Aditi and Anubhuti, right?
Before that, can I add to?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. She was like Anjali was talking about the transportation cost reduction and all. Actually, like we had a pilot in this also. Like we did a pilot project where we implemented the digital route sheets also for the transporters instead of carrying the big route sheets.
Right.
So that we can save the stationaries, and also we had a tracking app for the field staff who visit the market. Whether they're at what time, like it used to catch the real-time data along with the location. So they should not simply tell I was there, I was here, like that. So we were tracking them to whether to ensure that whether we are giving a good service or not. So one thing is mainly the demand and supply chain cost to be reduced, and that benefit should be passed on to the farmers. That is the greatest challenge today. So for that, as I said, only the organizational data is not sufficient. We need the industrial data. That means everywhere the integration to be completed. And once we get the industrial data, whether it is a procurement or a marketing, I think that is a major challenge nowadays. If I think that is where this sector specific platforms are relevant. That is one of the topic of the day also. So definitely I agree with, we need to adopt, and whatever there are so many obstacles will be there, of course. We need to come over all that, and finally only if the farmer is benefited, the rest will automatically come. So we need to concentrate more on the farmers. That's what I have understood now as a
Okay.
managing director and addressing the farmers' problem.
Okay. So Aditi and Anubhuti, the stage is now set for you to come in and respond to all these questions. But first, I want to start, and all three leaders spoke about the importance of fintech and the potential impact that it can have on the farming community, right? We talk about improving the farming community, the economic status, doubling the farmers' income and all of that. From that perspective, I want Aditi first to go with you, since you represent the fintech industry. If you can tell us what has been your experience with fintech adoption in the dairy industry, what are some of the really interesting and different use cases that you have seen?
Sure, absolutely, Diksha. So I think, first of all, great insights from all the leaders. I've just been listening and absorbing. I think, of course, starting with payments is the first leg, right? But when we talk about fintech and the role that fintech can play, fintech basically is the enabler on top of banks, right? Banks are the backbone of the country, and then sort of ensuring that you can get the right penetration, getting the right acquisition of customers is what a lot of fintechs are trying to solve for. So if you look at that, the pillars there then are three, right? One is, how do you embed payments? How do you make payments digital? Second is, how do you embed lending, right? Because access to capital is very, very important, and this is for all industries, but also specifically there'll be dairy specific requirements for accessing the capital, right? And then the third piece being, how do you enable banking, right? So the last stage is neo banking, right? So how do you essentially enable access to deposits, access to accounts, right? Ensuring that the underbanked and less banked population can go towards banking. So I think these three pillars are very important, and that's how we look at it, even as a payment and API banking company, right? So starting off with the payments, like, so we talked about, for example, even the problem of collections, right? Where we are saying that collections is still a problem because there are different forms of collection. There are different centers where collections is happening. So for a fintech or for the fintech industry, I think the way to solve this, and we have to solve it together and not in silo, is how do we ensure a hybrid mode of payment, right? For example, wherever there's feet on street, how do you ensure that the people who are on the street, can their mobile phones be used to enable collections, right? Can we ensure that UPI QR code modes are very easily available for collections, right? So ensuring that wherever what is needed, you provide that solution then and there, and not take a one size fits all approach for payments. I think that's the way we look at it, and that's how we've also, as an industry, been building out different solutions and products. So that's on the payments piece, and embedding them in the journey, right? Both on the B2B side as well as B2C side. How do you make sure the customer does not have to leave wherever they are, whatever they're doing, and ensure payment happens then and there? As the first leg. Second is when we talked about embedded lending, right? Which is again super, super important. We talk about supply chain financing, right? Where, what is the best place to give access to the financing? It is through the supply chain, right? You cannot come in from elsewhere and try to give the financing. The ones who are in the supply chain know what is the need. They understand what kind of cash flow requirements are there. So how do we, as a fintech community or fintech industry, ensure that we work with the supply chain to ensure that access to funding happens, both from banks as well as NBFCs, right? So that's the second layer. And then the third one, which is truly sort of, what we need to go towards, is neo banking, right? Ensuring, for example, recently RBI has also enabled UPI on prepaid instruments, right? Prepaid instrument has been something which is very widely used across the country. Now, enabling UPI on PPI is a game changer, right? Because you can actually use it to go and pay to merchants, pay everywhere, right? So how do we ensure that the channels that are there, for example, the large dairy companies, how can they be the neo banking provider? How can they, because they have access, right? How do we work with dairy companies to ensure that there can be access to prepaid instruments, access to cards, right? To make payment, access to bank accounts. I think that's how we are looking at this journey, and that's how we're looking to partner. Happy to, discuss more, but just wanted to give that in a nutshell.
No, but I have one more question for you. And again, I'm looking at it from the farmer's perspective, right?
Sure.
We talk about this concept of fast payments. UPI, I
Right.
think, is a very good example of that.
Right.
For them, for the ultimate individual farmer, who is I won't say the producer of it, but kind of from
Yeah.
whom we collect the milk.
Yeah.
Having ready cash in hand, immediate payments for them is going to basically revolutionize that community. So
Right.
how are you seeing the uptake of those kind of platforms at the farmer level? And also one related question is that normally all the solutions and platforms that are created are in the English language. So how are we
Right.
adapting those platforms to the vernacular, if at all that is happening?
Okay, no, great questions. So first of all, I think for the farmer community, from an uptake standpoint, uptake is always dependent on how easy it is, right? How frictionless it is. So for
Yes,
example,
and
just
intuitive also.
getting an instrument, intuitive, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So traditionally, you would have seen you have these rural focused banking correspondent fintechs, right? So to make the journey simpler for a farmer, there would be agent-based networks, right? So that's one way
Okay.
the fintech community is trying to solve it,
Mm.
where even after you are given an app, you might find it difficult, right, to navigate the app. So how do we do it in an assisted model, right? So having, let's say, your local Kirana shop guy, right, who is equipped and who understands a little bit better than let's say the farmer does, right? So it's not the equivalent of going several kilometers to a bank, but you're just going maybe 100 meters to your Kirana store, and that Kirana store guy who is an agent, right, of the bank or of a prepaid issuer is helping issue a card or helping issue a bank account or getting a UPI handle for the farmer. So that's
Right.
one way in which you ensure that the process becomes easier for the farmers. But second of all is overall, how do you make it more seamless? For example,
Yeah.
today to open a savings bank account, if you go to a usual, Grameen bank or, you go to a normal bank, process is very tedious and, it takes so much effort that you get a drop off, right? People just prefer that let me just keep the cash. How do you again ensure better, for example, easier ways to open these accounts, to open, get access to these instruments? Aadhaar based. Now, almost everybody now starting to get Aadhaar, even in the dairy industry, right? So how can you use Aadhaar to get these, min KYC instruments to use? So those are some of the things that, the fintech industry is working very closely with banks as well as with, RBI, right? How can we make the process simpler yet, of course, ensuring that trust still remains?
Yeah.
Because
That's at the
it's your
heart of
money,
everything.
right? Exactly, right? So you
Yeah.
have to trust the process. Otherwise, you'll never give up your cash, basically,
Yeah,
right?
certainly.
So that's that's some of the things that we are doing, and would love to hear from Anubhuti also from a data storage cloud standpoint. What are the things that are happening?
Yeah, and also from a platform approach perspective, right? Again, because it is one semi-organized in a way, and you have
Right.
private, public, and state, and then you have the other side, which is like the producer level. What is the platform approach? And this question is to Anubhuti. What is the platform approach that you see the dairy industry adopting?
So maybe I'll take that question in a more broad sense, Diksha, and I think all of it that Annie ma'am, Anjali, Padma ma'am have been talking about is a good indicator of that second revolution, about the digital-led revolution that we're talking about in the industry.
Yeah.
And we all understand it's a fragmented industry. We all understand it's largely rural-based industry. The skill set of people using technology might not really be to the extent that is desired to use some of the high-end technology-enabled platforms, etc. But if you start to think about it, that India is the bed of a change that's happening across the globe, right? So we have 50% plus mobile penetration now, 60% plus internet penetration in the country. And last 3 years, some data indicate that the number of internet connections that have been, activated are higher in rural areas than urban areas. So there is a change happening. There is a change coming. And, large government drives like Arogya Setu, CoWIN, etc., have also proven that you can actually take it to the last person in a remote area where there is some kind of accessibility to be able to actually get connected. So things are changing. And hearing from all the leaders as well, it's very clear that, there is a huge role IT can actually play, and especially new IT, which is Internet of Things, computer vision, drone-enabled use cases, artificial intelligence, etc. Right from the farmer or the dairy farmers level, where supporting cattle health, feeding, disease tracing, etc. From the automation of the collection process through application integration with the transport systems, and going back to the ERP systems of the dairy cooperatives, to the smart production, as Annie Ma'am was indicating, right? For the machine maintenance, doing more with less workforce, reducing human intervention in the whole process, making smarter supply chains, getting better demand signals from your consumers to do the production planning, plan for new product launches. All of these things can actually be planned at various pockets by all of these new technologies that we've been talking about.
Okay.
And if you look at the use cases, I would rather quote a use case from the Government of India itself. So National Dairy Development Board's digital tracking platform for livestock, which is called Pashu Aadhaar commonly, is a great example how technology can actually be taken to a large number of people across the country. Through this platform, and India has the highest number of livestock, if I'm not wrong, as well. So through this platform, Government of India is actually trying to do the milk tracing for 500 million cattle across the country. This is a program which was launched last year. About 150 million animals have already been traced. So it is milk producing animals and calves have already been tagged to a barcode on the earplug tag, through which the disease tracking can happen, the milk production tracking can happen, the health vaccination drives can be tracked. Essentially improving the livelihood of the farmers to take all the direct benefits to the farmers. A lot of this can be done in the interface. The data is then taken to the central repository on cloud. And the interface is eGopala mobile app, again, through which all of this data can actually be entered and supported. So I think technology today and across various aspects is getting more democratized. It can be used by a lot of people. And I think considering there is a source of data already existing with the dairy companies, we can then start looking at more use cases and try to see how we more cost effectively actually enable and take it out to the farmers.
Okay.
And also enable the demand signals coming from the market to see how we plan better, how we manage our supply chains better, and maybe launch of the new products.
Right. Okay. So great insights. We've heard both sides from the dairy industry and the technology industry. We've also talked about a lot of challenges and all the existing technology solutions that the dairy industry is adopting. I have one quick rapid fire question for all of you. If there is one problem that you think is very amenable to technology, but as of now, there either aren't sufficient technology solutions there, or the solutions don't really address the correct problem, right? Or address the problem correctly. What would it be? Can I ask? Can we start with Padmavati for that? Just very quick.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. One is like, as you know, the procurement is coming down nowadays. And coming down of the grazing lands, AI activities, and also which can have positive impact on all this. Okay, so the adoption is there happening, but it is still slower, and it should be improved a lot. So only concentrating on this we can.
So the solution exists. We just have to make sure that the penetration.
But it should happen like 100%.
Absolutely. So that is the takeaway. Anjali, for you.
Yeah, means like, like I said, is like order should come by some particular time. So the solution is there. Okay. Now we need to see why it is not properly implemented.
Okay.
What are the hurdles? Then we have to see is like both the sides. Is it training required, or like the application which is available is not that much user friendly? So we'll make it in the technology side that way, and then we will Means like maybe we will hire some trainers who, because it's very difficult, because we have to go in the field, we have to, there will be, so several customers will be there who will be using that. So basically both the side we have to, it's not only the technology will make the difference. Okay, we have to see that how the adoption is there and what are the hurdles that we are facing. So we have to see the functional side as well.
Okay, Annie, sorry, Anjali, I can't see you on the screen. You seem to have disappeared. But while you're coming back, Annie, over to you.
I think today also, if you look at technology, over a period, there has been some amount of fragmentation of the technologies, tech stack, right? If I look at, for instance, my milk procurement is sitting across two different applications. One, I have the entire milk collection cycle at each step of the supply chain. I have the visibility of each transaction, each drop of milk which is being poured. The farmer gets the information of the quantity, quality, and the entire movement of the milk up the supply chain. This is tracked through one system. Through another system, I keep track of what is happening with the milk movement. Once it gets into a tanker, the digital locking of the tanker to ensure that there is no tampering of the milk in transit, and the complete tracking of the tanker as it moves through the supply chain. So if I look at just one milk receiving or the milk procurement, there are multiple stacks. Similarly, across, like if I look at my distribution, there are different stacks. So possibly some kind of a consolidation across the stacks would be a great idea. The second thing is, and to me, which is a pain point, is most of the planning solutions today tend to be quite heavy and quite expensive from a dairy ecosystem perspective, quite unaffordable, because they kind of have a metric of turnover rather than actually the profitability, which is the constraint from a dairy industry. So better planning solutions designed for the dairy industry would be a good solve.
Okay. So Aditi and Anubhuti, your responses.
Okay, I'll take it first. So I think some of these, okay, sorry. If I
Anubhuti, you go first. You started. Sorry, Aditi, you can take it.
No, go ahead. I think there was some lag. That's it.
Yes, there is some lag. Yeah.
So I think some of these use cases that, or some of these problem statements that are being talked about can, while we can sit down and brainstorm and, really do a whiteboarding session in terms of how we, plug in. See, technology basically is a underlying foundation, right? You can think of it as something which is your building block, but you really have to build a use case or a solution on top. So, getting insights from domain experts and also the problem statement from the dairy industry, there are use cases which can be built. So, for example, from training of the farmer or the women farmer from whom the milk collection is happening, for how they actually start using those apps, there can be solutions which are chatbot enabled, right? Which actually can train them, or farmer peer groups which are created through a simple application where they can actually train each other. So you don't really have to, go through a whole formal training process. And again, and these are ideas which I'm just throwing, hearing what we just heard on this, and this is in no way in depth of probably what the problem statement is and what can be done. Creating some visual dashboards, integrating these applications in the back end, where while your systems can still be integrated, but at least from a visual or viewing perspective, the data and insights are available in one dashboard, which can be used by various stakeholders within the company. Could be a simple scenario or a simple solution to fragmented systems or different applications that exist for tracking the movement of goods at different locations. So, my submission is it's good to have insight or those discovery sessions, so to say.
Yeah.
And then really sit down and see how do we bring in some use cases in a cost-effective way, and as Annie ma'am was pointing out, and do some pilots to see how does it really land with people who are not very technology savvy, and maybe for more corporate and office use where we have users who are more well-versed with the technology. So I think the need of the hour is to give technology a stance, sit down, have the discovery workshop, and then we look at what use cases we can build on top of technology building blocks.
Aditi?
Sure. So I'll actually, take some notes from what Anubhuti was earlier mentioning about data, right?
Mhm.
So I think there is a lot of data available that, which the large dairy companies have, which can be leveraged to get better financial inclusion for the dairy industry. So I think that's one thing that I believe that, we should all work towards, both on the farmer side as well as, on the distributor and the entire supply chain, right? So I think that's one, if I had to pick one, I would take that, from a fintech perspective.
Mhm. Okay, so what I'm hearing is basically two main things. One is that solutions exist, but penetration of those solutions has to be increased and accelerated. And second, there's a lot of potential for technology to address many unmet needs of the dairy industry, and also the existing solutions can be improved substantially in terms of features, making sure that they address the actual business problem, but at the same time, making these available at a much lower cost economics. That is what I keep hearing. Okay, now to just quickly cover the rest of the questions, right? When we talk about technology adoption, we see a lot of business model changes that are happening. There are partnerships where there is outcome-based, there is risk-based. The whole cloud system has brought in the as-a-service subscription-based model. From an enterprise perspective, very quickly, can you tell us what are the business change models that you are seeing? And we can start again here with the technology side and go on to the dairy side. So Anubhuti, you can continue.
Sure. So I think the biggest change that is happening is making IT, or IT is becoming more pay as you go or pay per use.
Yeah.
It is no longer where you have to invest heavily upfront to buy tons of servers and have a dedicated space to host them, and then manpower to manage those systems. All of this can be done by various specialized companies which are available. So you can actually just use it there. Yeah. Beyond that, there are various domain expert companies who build platforms for dairy industry, and there are ready-made SaaS platforms or SaaS products now available, which are, and Annie ma'am was pointing, either you want to look for a solution which is proven in the market, or you try out a smaller pilot. So you either look at that SaaS product, which is then proven in the market, has acceptance, and this will work. Okay. That's again something which is more subscription model, or you look at a smaller pilot and then scale it out from there. So I think those are the trends which are in the industry today, and those are easy to adopt and scale depending on which action is the company wants to take to.
Anjali?
I mean, the base core ERP is that should be there, but other to that is subscription based, as Anubhuti, and then on the cloud, because we can't predict the size and all, so it's no sense in having the server. So subscription based application, and then
I think I'm losing her. I don't know if it is with everybody.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I think we're losing you, Anjali. Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
And in the meanwhile, you can chip in while Anjali joins me.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of potential for outcome-based or subscription-based models to come in. In fact, if you look at our tech stack, I think at least 50% is software as a service, right? Where we are leveraging some of the ready-made platforms available and using them to meet our end goals, because there is no point in reinventing the wheel. And especially considering today's skill set challenges, right? You have so much of attrition happening. The cost of skill sets has become quite unmanageable. So in that scenario, everyone inventing their wheel doesn't make sense. Somebody has invented a wheel. Let's see how to leverage those services better. The second thing is where outcome based, right? Where especially when the cost of the technology is high, whether it is related to robotics or whether it is related to some kind of plant automation systems, right? Where the OEMs promise you that they are able to give you something better. They promise you efficiencies, better yields. Then if you could have an outcome-based model saying that, okay, I will pay according to the outcomes which are getting generated by the deployment of the technology to mitigate the high cost of the item kind of thing. So these are some of the places where you could have a lot of collaborative models. To me, the farmer kind of portals, right? Farmer oriented portals where multiple end-to-end 360-degree service to the farmer could be provision for each and every aspect, touch the farmer's life, multiple touch points, and every supplier of that particular service is able to enable the farmer. So those are some of the ways in which more collaborative outcome-based models could be provided.
Okay. Anjali is back. I think, Anjali, can you continue?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, changing the base ERP is very difficult because already it is in place. Now, what are the things is like what we can do add on with the newer, like small application, which is a subscription base, and then integrate with them to make it very user friendly. And then, so that's going to be, that is what is we are doing in our organization. So like, basically the core ERP we can't change. That already we have invested too much in the hardwares and all. So, but now whatever the applications, it is a subscription based, which is a more, because data size is very unpredictable. We don't know what's, so it's really making sense to have a more servers and all. So now,
Padmavati, do you want to go?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to say that now everything is getting like right now she is telling about the existing ERPs we can't change. But this is a time where everything is getting changed to the SaaS models, which is outcome based. Or sometimes if we, for example, I have a Tetra Pak unit here. Even the Tetra Pak company is moved to the usage base. That means smart systems are getting and organizations are adopting smart systems. And that would be easier and compared to the existing ERP, where if we calculate the overall expenses we incur year on year, I think it's better to switch over to the new systems, which is subscription based as a SaaS model, which will be more cost effective. That's what I feel. At the same time, whichever is the ERP, whether it is a cloud based or it's a mobile apps, it should be very user friendly. It should be familiar to the users, like it should provide the local language. Or if I go at the farmers level, better we may install some kiosk where they can, there is a touch, but I think what I suggest is even the voice based would be better. Those who cannot type in, so that we can capture their, whether it's a requirement, intents or any information. I think if all this comes in a technology, it should be really like a change will happen.
Okay. Aditi?
So I think the dairy industry's business model itself will evolve and change, similar to what the tech industry is bringing in, right? So, for example, one, of course, we are seeing the subscription-based dairy products, right? I'm talking about on the B2C side, but then also on the B2B side, I think digital marketplaces will come in, right? Wherein there'll be more transparency between the various entities in the supply chain, and will also bring in more access, right? Today, you only know who you are supplying to, but if you have a marketplace where you can discover, right, other suppliers or other retailers, I think that is going to be the direction which we are seeing for all B2B industries, and I believe dairy will also go in that direction from a business model standpoint.
Okay, so we've heard from Padmavati, Anjali, and Annie about what are the few things that the technology industry can do, right, to improve the entire process and the experience. Again, as a rapid fire question, I want to ask, and this is the closing section. I want to ask both Anubhuti and Aditi, what is your ask from the dairy industry as technology leaders, as people representing or offering solutions or building solutions for that industry? What is your ask from them?
So again, maybe I'll just go first. So I'll go back to what I was referring to earlier. Technology adoption is not something which is a huge cost intensive project anymore. We can start small depending on the use cases. They can be built with minimal resources that's required to run a pilot. And depending on the success of the pilot is when you can decide to scale it out.
Yeah.
There are technologies now available which can actually convert speech to text, text to speech in regional languages for the country. And this is being done successfully across through technology. So we can look at use cases based on those. Just think through, don't think through technology as something where you have to upfront commit on anything. Bring use cases, have an open mind. And there is a lot which can be achieved by, building small use cases and then scaling these out. And again, proven solutions which are existing in the market, the platforms which are already built, which have been adopted, check them out as well, because that's something which is already running, and there are customers, organizations who are trusting them and who are making use of these. So might as well just go through these and look at it if there is a fitment for these in your organization as well.
So basically scale your experimentations. That's what you're saying at the end of the day.
Just have an open mind about experimentation. Yeah. This is not something which is going to, be very capital intensive.
Okay.
It's a lean way of doing things. And there are skills available in the market, various technology companies who can quickly, help you build the use case and really bring it to life.
Okay. Aditi?
And convince companies like AWS to invest in some of those experimentations.
Yeah, that's equally important. I agree. So yeah, it's a partnership model, Anubhuti. So right. So Aditi, yes, over to you.
You actually stole my words, Diksha. I was about to say that the approach is to take a partnership based approach rather than thinking of fintechs or tech companies.
Yes.
Because the dairy industry understands the problem statement. We bring in, the product tech know-how. I think the two entities have to work together to really be able to solve some of the problems, that are there across the value chain. So I think partnership first approach, and we would like to do that too, right? For this industry, I think that's that would be my message or my humble submission to the dairy industry.
Okay. And last question, since we are
can I put a word in this?
Yes, please.
About the revolution. Yeah, what I have observed is nowadays, like we all are behind the organic. So where the organic is premium also, and people are ready to afford. So what I see is, suppose if there is a revolution now at the society level where the farmer gives milk, if we start checking the bacterial count or the chemical count at the collection point, I think every dairy will be an organic dairy. So today in the market, only 5% of the organic milk is available maybe. So that's why the cost is also very high. But still people are behind the quality and the health benefits. So if we insist this bacterial count or the chemical count at the collection point, and if we improve the quality of the milk, make it organic, I think our farmers are getting the greatest benefits, and their income will increase, and definitely they'll be very much interested in this dairying. Nowadays, that is a major problem I am facing as a managing director here. People are going away from dairying industry because of the lower income. And they are facing many difficulties in handling this. And also the next generation is not at all carrying or continuing what their parents were doing. And this is the major reason. And of course, the LST is one of the reasons. So we are facing a major challenge now as a lower procurement of milk. So until we strengthen them financially, we should do something. We should bring in something which will revolutionize, as I said, the second revolution, which should definitely uplift the farmers and their life. Then it would be a greater contribution from all of us.
Yeah. So make farming and agriculture a viable career option for.
And just to extend to that thought, Padma ma'am, from the farmer standpoint, that's one way of tracking the quality and chemical content. The other angle, this could be how we increase the transparency with the end consumer, right? So in terms of what's the origin of the milk, what's the supply chain, what's the chemical content, And all of this can actually very easily be achieved by blockchain technologies. Just a QR code on the milk carton or bottle, which you scan, and all the information is right there for you.
Yeah.
So technology at both ends can actually enable these. And as you rightly said, the more we make it, more we democratize it and take it closer to consumers is where this can actually be, the overall cost could be reduced, and the proceeds can go to the farmers.
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. So again, just last question to all of you. All of you are accomplished leaders, right? So as women leaders, what is your one advice to the women fraternity and also to men? We can close with that. And we can start with Anjali. Because this is Women's Day celebration, right?
Women's Day.
That's what we were trying to do.
Sure.
But that question, just some guidance.
I mean, like, every lady, we start from home. Okay. We do all the management, everything from the small thing to the big decisions we can do very easily, So what is like, normally I have seen not only in the dairy, but other organization also, the lady leaders are very less in the numbers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm trying to say to the all women is like, it's not that difficult, you don't have to see that is very difficult and how to, compete with this world, and then where the men are very high and nothing. It's like, I feel that dairy is like my, I joined dairy 13 years back where I was not having a domain experience. But what we have to see is like, it's our day-to-day life kind of a thing that we are doing. Nothing so big we are doing. So I mean, like, that fear should go from the women's, and then they can do very well, very good in all the levels. I know very well. That's my experience.
Thank you, Anjali. That's very, very encouraging. Annie?
I think one of the important things when we are in the dairy industry, so I will not address purely as women.
Yeah.
To me, as members of the dairy industry, what we bring to the table is not merely a profit objective, right? We directly impact the lives of those around us. Just a simple step like being able to directly credit money to the farmer account, right, was such a big enabler and a big relief from a farmer perspective. Every farmer distress is a failure of the entire ecosystem, right? And we are in a unique position to bring in efficiencies and increase productivity, and this directly contributes to nation building. I don't know whether any other industry can claim that to the extent we can claim. So I find that a lot of women take step back thinking, oh, should we be so passionate? Should we care enough? Somebody will tell you, don't be so passionate, don't care so much. That is our strength. And we should leverage that strength. The fact that we care, the fact that we are passionate about what we do, the fact that we are committed to perfection is what is the strength of a woman. And I think we should leverage that to impact the dairy industry.
Okay, very nice, Annie. Padmavati?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say all any woman in the world, I would like to say that don't feel bad that why we have born as women. See, first of all, we should all feel very proud that I'm a woman. That's our greatest source of energy. And always the biggest source of motivation are our own thoughts. So think big and motivate yourself to win. And also to the men, I'd like to say, always we say behind the success of every man, there is a woman. But we don't need any such support. Be with us. Just be with us, support us, and pat us when we do good things. Recognize us. That's it. We are capable of doing anything.
Aditi?
Actually, from personal experience as well as, when I've spoken to a lot of women leaders, I've realized that one, commonality I've seen is that a lot of people suffer from what is called as imposter syndrome, where we feel that we are not good enough, especially in case of high achieving women, right? Women leaders. So that's where I think everybody has to kind of acknowledge and be self-aware that this is just an internal thought, right? You really deserve where you are, and you can do a lot more. So I think that's something that I would like to, give as a message to all women out there and all women leaders.
Anubhuti, you have the last word.
I think, again, I'm from the knowledge industry and I'll speak on behalf of the knowledge industry. And again, from the personal experience of mentoring and talking to a lot of women across last 10, 15 years, I think first thing we need to take off from our mind is there is no role or no profile which is suitable to a woman or not suitable to a woman. I mean, these profiles are created for somebody who's capable of delivering what's supposed to be delivered, and that could be irrespective of gender, anyone. So I think that's something we should definitely not think about, and find what you're passionate about, find what you're good at doing, find what you really find meaning from doing. Because, careers, if you are a career woman, you will be there for a long time. And it's proven that women have to work longer and harder to get to the positions that our other colleagues do. So it's good to have that passion in you, so you have the motivation to come to work, build the network around you, so you find, and it could, network doesn't mean just women and friends, right? A network of people to support you, guide you, someone you can talk through, bounce your ideas off. And it takes time and energy to build that network, right? So, find that passion, find what you're really good at doing, what you like doing, and build on it, because what you can deliver is what really builds your brand and builds your trust and helps you build that network of people around you as well. But there is no profile which is not suitable for a woman. So just don't even think about that. Find what you're good at.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we are absolutely out of time, but I have had the most delightful discussion with all of you. Dairy industry is something that I didn't know so much about, but this was a fantastic discussion. Lots of insight, both from the dairy side and technology side. Lots to do for all the stakeholders. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart all of you for taking the time out. And Chandrawala and Vasista team, thank you for organizing this fantastic panel discussion. My request to viewers is just stay back for 5 minutes. There is one last thing we have to do before we close. Chandrawala, over to you.
Okay, that's really fantastic. Wow. Thank you all. So there are some 4 questions in the Q&A. So can you access those questions, Diksha, or shall I read it out?
I can, but do we have the time do we have the time for Q&A? I mean, there are 1 or 2 we can ask. But
yeah, we can take 1 or 2 probably.
Okay.
Yeah?
So there is one question which talks about what type of transparency steps are taken up in the union at the village level milk collection. And Padmavati, can you probably take that question?
Definitely. I think this is already the solutions are running actually. But the thing is, like, as I told you, there are automatic milk collection units which can be integrated for the weighment of the milk, quality of the milk. And so this integration should be, as I told you, we should provide a mobile app to the farmers wherein the real-time data should go to the mobile app. It should be accessible to them so that they are also aware of how much fat and SNF was the milk and how much is worth he's paid. So that there will be a transparency there. At the same time, if the same system is integrated to the cloud-based ERP at the organization level, the managers or the higher officers can view the real-time data at which society, what is collected, what is the quality of the milk. So I think implementing all this, definitely we can bring a transparency.
Okay. And the second question is, can it be made possible for total accountability for every liter of milk with quality that is collected at the farmer level and milk payment released from the dairy? So again, I will request any of the dairy leaders to probably respond to that.
Yeah, I think it is accountable. Yeah, as I told you, the real-time data, that's what I told you, not only the organization data, it's industry data is available with us. Okay. No one, like, if the automatic bills are raised and the payments are made online, or if the payments are integrated to the bank. So there will be definitely an accountability, and there won't be any reconciliation or the people come over there and check their accounts. The total transparency will be in accounting everything. So the only solution is we have to digitize, and with the support of the our members
Oh,
who are the end users.
okay. I think that's it, Chandrabala. Do you want to move to the next section?
Yeah, so we have with us Swati Gatke. So she is a wonderful woman, dairy entrepreneur. So I would like to bring her slide and so we can go through. So can Swati, can you just open the video for you? Can someone help her?
Yeah, we can
So
see the
I'll-
slide.
Yeah. So she is now a chairperson of Gatke Food and Milk Products Private Limited, Maharashtra, and she has 50,000 LPD dairy manufacturers of lead brand Amul, and the chairperson of Bhagavan Rao Gatke High School. So she has two different hats while she is supporting the family. So she was born in Jaisinghpur, Maharashtra, and comes from a very well-educated family. She did her schooling at local private school and pursued her LLB degree from Kolhapur University. After the untimely demise of her husband, Mr. Gatke, she took over the day-to-day management of dairy operations while balancing her family responsibilities. She grew the business substantially, overcoming heavy competition from well-established dairies in Western Maharashtra. Her transparent management and high-quality products affected India's biggest dairy, Amul. Under her leadership, Amul started first milk processing plant in Western Maharashtra. Today we have her. So Vasista has the privilege to honor her, and let us listen what she can, what she has to say. So can I see Swati?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Thank you,
bringing you
madam.
to the spotlight.
थैंक यू मैडम और थैंक यू वशिष्ठा. फर्स्टली मैं अभी आपके साथ हिंदी में बात करूंगी. आपने
बोलिए.
मुझे ये चांस दिया. आप इतने बड़े बड़े सब महिलाएं हैं इधर. वुमेन्स डे के औपचारिकता से आपने ये जो प्रोग्राम किया है, ये बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्राम किया है, क्योंकि अभी मैंने देखा है कि डेयरी सेक्टर में ऐसा कोई प्रोग्राम लेडीज के लिए नहीं हुआ है. जो कुछ होता है वो सब जेंट्स के लिए ही होता है. सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस उनके लिए होते हैं, सब एग्जीबिशंस होते हैं, लेकिन लेडीज के लिए कुछ नहीं होता. अभी मेरा देखो, मैं बहुत शादी के पहले ये बिजनेस माइंडेड मेरे घर में बिल्कुल ही नहीं था. लेकिन जब शादी के बाद मैं यहाँ आई तो मेरे हस्बैंड का वो मिल्क का प्लांट था. वो प्रोसेसिंग करके पैकिंग करके भेजते थे हर जगह, लेकिन वो चल रहा था. मैं ज्यादा ध्यान नहीं देती थी उनकी तरफ से. और फिर बाद में जब वो 8 साल पहले वो गुजर गए, तब से मैं इसमें अभी फुल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेके मैंने वो प्लांट हैंडल किया. वो पहले हमारे इधर पैकिंग वगैरह होता था, लेकिन इतना अच्छी तरह से हमारा प्लांट नहीं था, क्योंकि अभी जो कैसा एडवांस्ड लगता है और एडवांस्ड मशीनरी लगती है, वो सब हमारे पास नहीं थी. तो एक बार हमने सोचा कि स्टार्ट तो करेंगे, तो फिर हमने थोड़ा थोड़ा स्टार्ट किया. फिर अमूल के साहब आ गए और उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं, हमें ऐसा प्लान नहीं चाहिए, हमें अच्छा प्लान चाहिए. तो फिर हमने क्या किया, हमें भी कोई रिन्यूएशन करनी थी. हमने सब उस प्लांट में रिन्यूएशन किया. वो उनको जैसे चाहिए थे वो ऐसी मशीनरी हमने परचेज की और उनको वो प्लांट दिखाया, तो उनको बहुत पसंद आ गया. और करीब 8 साल से मैं प्लांट में हूँ. और अभी अमूल का ये जो मैंने जॉब वर्क में कर रही हूँ, अमूल का मेरे यहाँ काउ मिल्क पैकिंग होता है, बफेलो मिल्क फुल क्रीम होता है, और छाछ और कर्ड, ये मेरे यहाँ पैकिंग होता है अमूल का. और ये जो डेयरी है, वो जो रियली जो लेडीज को देखनी पड़ती है वो मैनेजमेंट, वो भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट होती है. अभी क्योंकि क्या होता है, सब जगह मुझे देखना पड़ता है. वो प्रोक्योरमेंट का भी मेरा अलग यूनिट है, वो भी मुझे देखना पड़ता है, उसके भी प्रॉब्लम्स मैं देखती हूँ. और वो जो प्रोसेसिंग करके पैकिंग करके वो जो देखना है, उसका भी मुझे वो सब मैं देखती हूँ. और ये जो करते समय हर एक सेक्टर में कोई लैब सेक्टर हो, कोई प्रोडक्शन का सेक्टर हो, कोई ऑपरेटिंग का सेक्टर हो, कोई बॉयलर डिपार्टमेंट का हो, बहुत ही सभी जगह से सब लोगों को कोऑर्डिनेट करके करना पड़ता है। एक जगह और एक कोई भी आदमी नहीं आया और कुछ हो गया तो बहुत गड़बड़ी और प्रॉब्लम होता है। लेकिन मैं गर्व से कहती हूँ कि अभी ये अमूल का जो मैंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लिया है, तब से मेरा एक दिन भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आया। किस लोगों का एक आदमी जाता है तो दूसरा उस जगह ड्यूटी करता है, और हर एक जगह मेरा जो तो आदमी रहता है और सब बराबर चलता है। फिर उसके बाद वो प्रॉब्लम को फेस करना पड़ता है, यानी वो मशीनरी का भी प्रॉब्लम होता है। इधर इधर अदर इंडस्ट्रीज में कैसा होता है, कोई भी नई मशीनरी मिली तो ठीक है चलता है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ ऐसा नहीं होता। सब कुछ स्टैंड बाय भी रखना पड़ता है, और उसके बाद जो कुछ भी होता है मशीनरी कोई प्रॉब्लम आ गया तो इमीडिएट उधर करेक्ट करके उधर रखनी पड़ती है। क्योंकि वो ऐसा, आप सब लोगों को तो मिल्क इंडस्ट्री का एक्सपीरियंस है, मालूम है। आपके सामने मैं बहुत छोटी हूँ, हमारा 70 to 75,000 तक का मिल्क है। मैं खुद मिल्क कलेक्शन भी करती हूँ, वो मेरा करीब करीब 20,000 का है। और वो मैं सब कलेक्शन तो मेरा डायरेक्ट फार्मर को भी कॉन्टेक्ट आता है, उनके भी प्रॉब्लम मैं फेस करती हूँ। और कलेक्शन करते समय जो आपने अभी बोला ट्रांसपोर्ट और जो फैट लॉस, SNF लॉस, वो भी बहुत होता है, इसके तरफ भी बहुत ध्यान देना पड़ता है। और सब लोग ऑनेस्ट होते हैं ऐसी बात नहीं है, लोग भी बहुत ही परेशान करते हैं। और ऊपर से एडल्ट्रेशन का भी तो एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है। सब इतना मिल्क आता है तो उसमें एडल्ट्रेशन करके लेना, ये एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात अभी बन गई है। तो फिर ये सब करके तो अभी मैं कर रही हूँ। और वे फैक्ट्री चलाते समय सब लाइसेंसेस, सब टेक्नोलॉजीज मुझे कुछ भी मालूम नहीं था, लेकिन धीरे धीरे मैंने सब सीख लिया। और मैं अभी हमारे यहाँ से अभी 40,000 तक, 32-35,000 तक का पैकिंग होता है, और 30,000 तक का प्रोसेस मिल्क करके टैंकर भर के जाता है। और भी हमारा प्लांट बड़ा करने का इरादा है, हम धीरे धीरे वो करेंगे। फिर से एक बार मैं आपको थैंक्स, वशिष्ठ ग्रुप को थैंक्स करती हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे बोलने का चांस दिया और मेरा सब सुन लिया इसमें।
Okay, that's a fantastic story, Swati. Whether it is a small dairy, big dairy, and the same problems, but you all alone doing all this is incredible. Thank you for presenting this. So now we come to the last part of it. It's so our lead on the business side, Ramya, is going to basically give us a thank you note. So Ramya, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Hope all of you are able to hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Ramya.
Pleasure. Hi, ma'am. Hi to all of you. My pleasure to be a part of this event. Really inspiring, and I've been taking notes all through. Really glad to meet all of you, at least on a video call, and would like to thank each one of you for sparing your valuable time and making it to this occasion. It means a lot to us as Team Vasista. A big thank you from all of us, and very good takeaways. We being a part of this industry right from the very start, I'm sure there are a lot of things that we can add to our platform, and it'll go a long way in helping the whole industry moving forward. Just a point of view highlights, Ani ma'am, thank you for bringing up that thing on digital locking of tankers. Interesting, and AI/ML solutions. I'm sure in the very near future we would like to present what we have. So we could kind of collaborate and work on new solutions on that. Anjali ma'am, glad to hear on your international experience and the way Lactalis is running pilots. Agreed, SAP is the backbone, but really glad that there are so many other players who've been able to be spokes in the wheel and contribute to this whole ecosystem. Padmavati ma'am, brilliant inputs on the procurement side. I think we heard a lot on the procurement side from you. Really good value add for us. And the thing on organic milk was an eye opener. I think it was a brilliant statement from you, and I think all dairies should work towards that. Enabling the enabling the farmer. So we don't get carried away by this whole hoax of the highly priced organic milk. Anupati ma'am, thank you so much. Glad to know about eGopala and all the efforts that AWS is putting on, kind of tying up the loose ends in this whole ecosystem. And I was impressed with the way you said the lean way of doing things. Time that all dairies start taking up good pilots and we all together march towards a brighter future. Aditi ma'am, neobanking solutions, something of great interest to us. Been working in this space. Very, very good insights from you. And yes, I think the partnership-based approach is the great way forward. And thank you, Swati ma'am, for your valuable inputs. Truly inspiring to see somebody who started from the scratch, one without a background, to scale this far. Impressed and really inspired by all you women. Thank you so much, Chandra ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to present the word of thanks. Really elated to be a part of this event. Thank you, Diksha ma'am. Brilliant, brilliant moderating. We all enjoyed being a part of this webinar.
So I would like to add one more word to Diksha. Without her, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you so much, Diksha. It's a lot. It means a lot to us.
Thank you so much.
And everyone, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Happy Women Year.
Hope to keep in touch with all of you.
Yeah, sure,
Thank you
sure.
so much. Brilliant
Bye.
moderation, Diksha.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Diksha ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, Diksha.
Bye. everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you all once again. I wish you all once again a very happy Women's Year. Every day is ours. Let us enjoy. Let us be strong every day.
Yes.
you, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
आणि
Bye.
थँक्यू स्वाती. मी तुम्हाला मराठीमध्ये म्हणते की तुम्ही खूप छान करता आहात आणि तसंच कंटिन्यू ठेवा.
That's great. Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's
Thank
log
you.
off.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I think. Just 1 second. We are all in one place. We try to make it. The webcam is not working here. Oh, can you all see here? Background change. Okay. What is that? Okay, so that's not possible. Okay, for me, yeah,
For
yeah.
you only,
Yeah,
for
1
you.
second.
Screenshot.
I think that's have to go from here. It has to go down. This. Text, not her. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's close it. I think there's some technical issue here. So. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you all. Bye for
Thank you.
now.
Bye.
Have a great day. And
Thank
we'll hope to see we will have these kind of meetings in future. So great. Thank you.
Thank you.